Lena Gray, 32, sat by the window of the plane and pressed her palms together. "Breathe," she whispered. She was flying home to Riverton for a family meeting she had feared for months. Her older brother Mark always spoke like a judge. Her younger sister, Bella, smiled like a friend but slipped little jabs that stung for days. Neither of them knew the truth about Lena. They thought she was the simple one who lived small and scraped by. In reality, the company she built from scratch had been sold 6 months ago for more money than she ever dreamed. She still drove a 10-year-old car, wore old jeans, and rented a small place on purpose. "Things don't define me," Lena often told herself. Today, though, their view of her was going to change. A helicopter would land on her parents' lawn. It would be loud. It would be clear. But for now she kept quiet. The flight attendant offered water. "Thanks," Lena said, smiling. She opened her phone and read a message from her assistant, Nina. "All set on our end. Call when you're 10 minutes out." Lena typed back, "Copy. Let's keep the plan simple." She closed her eyes and heard her brother's voice from years ago. "Some people lead, some people follow. Know your lane, Lena." She had known her lane. She had paved it herself. Back in high school, Mark was class president and Bella was homecoming queen. Their parents, Robert and Helen, loved rules, schedules, and shiny success. Lena was different. She fixed broken laptops in the library and built custom websites for small shops on Main Street. "It's a cute hobby," Robert said once, patting her shoulder. "You'll pick a real path soon." When Lena announced at dinner that she would skip college to start a business, the room turned cold. Helen stared at her napkin. "You'll regret this," Robert said without looking up. Mark folded his arms. "You're being impractical." Bella tilted her head. "You could at least get a business degree and make friends." Lena swallowed. "I want to try." She left Riverton with $200, a used backpack, and a list of customers who trusted her. The next years were hard. "I failed," she told Nina on a rainy night after a client canceled. "So try again," Nina said. They tried again. Twice Lena almost lost everything. Then her security idea clicked. She wrote a simple tool that kept small businesses safe from data thieves. It worked. Word spread. She named the company LockGuard and kept building. LockGuard grew because Lena listened. "Speak like people, not like servers," she told her tiny team. They wrote clean guides, answered calls at night, and fixed problems fast. The breakthrough came in year 3, when Lena earned a patent for a smart protection method that small shops could actually afford. "This will change things," Nina said, holding the letter with shaking hands. It did. Investors called. Big clients joined. Lena still ate noodles at her desk and took the bus to save cash. "We're close," she kept saying. 5 years after that first rainy night, LockGuard was valued at over $50 million. Next, a larger company, Nextech, bought LockGuard. Lena kept equity and stayed on as division head. Everyone cheered, but she didn't buy a mansion. She set up a quiet fund, paid her team well, and began building classrooms in small towns overseas. When her family called on holidays, she stayed vague. Mark offered to help with rent. Bella mailed her a bag of gently used clothes. "Thank you," Lena always said. She did not correct them. She wanted peace, not a fight. And a small part of her wanted the reveal to happen at the right time. Once, clearly and face to face. The call about her parents came 3 weeks ago. Helen had broken her hip. Robert's memory had started to slip. Mark's voice on the phone was firm. "We need a family meeting. There will be cost. Contribute what you can." Lena had already arranged an evaluation for a private care community she helped fund under another name. She said only, "I'll be there." On the morning of her flight, she stood in front of her closet. She chose faded jeans, a soft gray sweater with a tiny hole, and old sneakers. Nina watched from the door. "You're worth a fortune," Nina said gently. "But you're dressing like a student going home for the weekend." "Because that's how they see me," Lena answered, tying her hair back. "I'll meet them where they are, then move the line." Nina held up 2 folders. Regular itinerary and the reveal plan. Lena took both. "Keep the helicopter on standby. No drama unless we need it." Nina grinned. "You'll need it." Lena laughed. "Maybe." On the plane, Lena made a checklist. Listen first, be kind, correct what matters, protect her parents, and avoid gloating. She underlined the last one twice. "No gloating," she whispered. Just truth. The taxi rolled past the Riverton hardware store, the old ice cream place, and the park where Lena once sketched website layouts in a notebook. The white house with blue shutters looked the same. Maple tree, neat garden, worn steps. Mark opened the door before she could knock. He wore a cashmere sweater and a look that measured everything. Finally, he said, checking his watch. Flight delays? Or did you take the bus? Lena hugged him anyway. Good to see you, Mark. How are Mom and Dad? As expected, he said, taking her beat-up duffel with 2 fingers. You're in your old room. He lowered his voice. If you need help with expenses while you're here, say so. Lena nodded once. Thanks. In the living room, Robert dozed in his chair. Helen moved carefully from the kitchen and hugged Lena tight. You look healthy, Helen said, searching for a kind word. Are you eating enough on your budget? We can help with groceries. I'm okay, Mom, Lena said, easing her into a chair. Mark hovered with a thick binder. We'll review care options tomorrow. Premium facilities cost real money. He tapped the cover like a gavel. We'll be practical. Lena folded her hands and smiled. Good. Let's make sure they get the best. Her phone buzzed with a text from Nina. All teams ready. Say when. Lena slipped the phone away and listened. Really listened, as her mother described the fall and her father's good days and bad days. She could wait one more night. The truth would land when it needed to. Dinner smelled like roasted chicken and garlic when the doorbell rang. Mark held up a hand. I arranged a proper meal, he said, as if Lena had offered to serve instant noodles. Bella swept in wearing a cream sweater dress. Her husband drew behind her with glossy bags. We brought gifts. Bella sang. She kissed Helen's cheek carefully. For Dad, single malt. For Mom, silk. She handed Mark a leather portfolio. Then she turned to Lena and paused. And for you, this. She offered a small bag with a neat bow. Inside was a gift card to a mid-range clothing store. Thought you could use a few interview pieces, Bella said brightly. Lena smiled. Thank you. Drew cleared his throat. How's the oi design thing? We help small businesses stay safe online, Lena said. Basic websites, right? Mark added. I know a dentist who needs something simple. It could give you steady income. I'll think about it, Lena replied. Robert blinked awake and squinted at Lena. You still in that tiny place? With the loud neighbors? I'm comfortable, she said. Bella laughed. Remember when you said buying name-brand cereal meant you'd made it? The table chuckled. Helen touched Lena's hand. We only want stability for you, dear. Lena took a breath. Me too. After dinner, Mark spread a thick binder on the table like a courtroom file. Care options for Mom and Dad, he announced. 3 facilities. Best medical ratings. Excellent amenities. He clicked his laptop and pointed at photos of manicured gardens and bright lounges. This one has gourmet dining, he said. This has a memory wing, Bella added. We know the director. Drew nodded. And this new community offers seamless step-up care. Helen smiled, then frowned at the prices. That is a lot. Mark folded his hands. Premium care costs real money. We'll be practical. He looked at Belle and Drew. We can cover 40%. He looked proud. I can manage 45, he added. Then he turned to Lena. That leaves 15, about $1,200 a month. Silence held for a long second. Bella tried to soften it. If that's too much, maybe you could help with visits. Or, $500 a month? We can bridge the rest. Mark leaned in. We don't want hardship for you. Robert frowned. Do you have steady work now? Last time you were between projects. Lena kept her voice even. I'm comfortable with my work. Being comfortable isn't being secure, Mark said. I have an entry-level role opening. Modest pay but real benefits. I'll vouch. Lena folded her arms loosely. That's kind, she said, but I'm set. Bella traded a look with Mark. Lena, this isn't about pride. It's about a plan, Mark said. We finalize numbers tomorrow morning. Helen's eyes moved between them. Let's not fight, she whispered. Lena shook her head. I'm not fighting. She stood and carried plates to the sink. Mark followed. Just say what you can do. We'll adjust. Lena turned the water off and looked at him. You haven't asked what I can do. You've told me. Mark opened his mouth, closed it and sighed. We know your situation. Do you? Lena asked softly. He didn't answer. Helen touched Mark's sleeve. Enough for tonight. In the hallway, Lena's phone buzzed. Nina. Team staged. Confirm if we move to Plan B tomorrow. Lena typed. Yes. 9 a.m. Wait for my call. She slid the phone away and rejoined her mother, asking about pain levels, therapy, sleep. She really listened. When Helen squeezed her hand and said, You always were good at solving problems quietly, Lena smiled. Still am. Morning came with coffee, pastries and Mark's projector on the living room table. Parental care, options and costs, his title slide read. Everyone took seats. Lena chose the wobbly ottoman. Mark presented like a seasoned executive. He listed amenities, insurance gaps and line item budgets. The monthly shortfall, he concluded, is here. He tapped a number that made Helen exhale. Drew spoke first. We proposed the split we discussed. Mark nodded. Bella and Drew at 40%. Me at 45. Lena 15. He looked at Lena as if bracing for a storm. If needed, Bella added quickly, we can accept 500 from you and make up the rest. Robert tilted his head. Or you could take that job with your brother, he offered. It would help you get settled. Lena's phone vibrated. She glanced at the screen, then at Mark. I need to make a quick call. Mark frowned. We're in the middle of this. It'll take a minute, Lena said, stepping into the hall. Hey Nina, she whispered. Is everything set for today? Good. Arrival in 15. Yes, the lawn is big enough. Thank you. She returned on Saturday. I have another option for Mom and Dad, she said. A private community nearby with an innovative memory program. Mark waved it off. I mapped every quality facility within 50 miles. This one isn't public, Lena said. It accepts private clients through a foundation. Bella blinked. How do you know that? Because I funded the foundation, Lena answered. Silence. Then Mark laughed. Okay. He clicked to a new slide. Back to reality. The air changed first, a faint tremor. Then a sound like distant thunder grew into a heavy rhythmic chop. Helen looked toward the window. What is that? The maple tree outside trembled. Drew stood. No way. The sound swelled. Lena set her hands on her knees and spoke calmly. That would be my ride. Mark stood eyebrows high. You're what? The shadow of a sleek helicopter slid across the lawn. The dishes on the sideboard rattled. Bella pressed a hand to her pearls. We should call someone. Please don't, Lena said, already walking to the door. She paused and looked back. You said I couldn't even afford a car, she told Mark quietly. You were right. I don't own a car. She opened the door. The pilot in a dark uniform lifted a hand in greeting through the glass. Helen swayed, then caught herself on the arm of the couch. Lena. I'll be right outside, Lena said gently. We can keep talking just at my place. Mark stared, color draining from his face. At your what? I home, Lena said. 15 minutes away. Wind pushed warm air into the foyer as Lena stepped onto the porch. The helicopter settled, the rotors slowing. The pilot jogged over, helmet under his arm. Morning, Miss Gray, he said over the noise. All good. All good, Rick, Lena replied. She turned back to the doorway where her family stood frozen. There's room for everyone, she called. Or we can do 2 trips. Mark found his voice. This is ridiculous. So is deciding my budget without asking me, Lena said, meeting his eyes. Belle looked at Drew. He shrugged, half grinning in disbelief. Helen touched Robert's sleeve. I don't like the noise, Robert muttered, confused, then smiled faintly. But it's exciting. Lena stepped closer to Helen. We can drive if you prefer. Or I can go ahead and set up lunch. Your call. Helen drew a breath and nodded once. We'll come, she said, surprising everyone. I'd like to see where you live. Lena squeezed her hand. Hey. Slow steps. Take your time. They moved together toward the helicopter. Rick offered headsets and helped them in with calm, practiced motions. Mark hesitated on the grass, then climbed aboard, jaw tight. The flight was short. Riverton shrank to a quiet quilt of roofs and trees. Bella's eyes were wide. I can't believe this is happening. Drew peered out. Is that water? A small lake, Lena said through the headset. We're almost there. The estate appeared like a picture. Stone main house, glassy windows, neat paths, a new helipad by a ring of low hedges. Rick set them down gently. Nina waited at the edge of the pad with a tablet and a calm smile. Welcome. Lena helped Helen out first, then Robert. Mark stepped onto the grass and kept turning as if the scene might change if he looked fast enough. This is yours. Helen whispered. Yes, Lena said. Bought it 6 months ago to open a regional office. Regional office of what? Mark asked, voice flat. Lockguard, Lena answered. Pie company. In the foyer, sunlight spilled across pale floors. Nina handed Lena a slim leather folder. Lena motioned to the sofas. Please sit. Mark remained standing. Since when do you have a company? 8 years, Lena said. We were acquired by Nextech 6 months ago. She opened the folder and slid a page toward him. Deal summary. Mark read the number. His mouth opened then closed. 50 million, Bella whispered. Drew let out a low breath. Robert leaned back and covered his eyes, then laughed once, soft and astonished. Pie girl. Helen blinked fast. Why didn't you tell us? Lena folded her hands. Because every time I tried to talk about my work, it became a joke or a warning. Get a real job. Be practical. I chose quiet. Mark stared at the page. You let us believe you were broke. I didn't let you, Lena said gently. You decided. I wore old jeans and you wrote a story about my life from that. Bella flushed. The gift card. I thought I was helping. You were keeping me in a box, Lena said. A small one with struggling on the label. Drew cleared his throat. And the care community you mentioned? Lena nodded to Nina, who placed a second folder on the table. The Westfield Foundation, Lena said. I funded it after our patent. It runs a memory care community 20 minutes from here. I already arranged a place for Mom and Dad whenever they're ready. The trust is set. No cost to you. Mark looked up slowly. You did this without us? For them, Lena answered. And yes, because I knew you'd try to run it. Lunch arrived on quiet trays. Simple food, beautifully done. Conversation shifted from shock to questions. Robert brightened as Lena explained how Lockguard protected a bakery's books and a clinic's files. Helen asked about Lena's apartment in the city. Do you like it? I do, Lena said. But I'll split time here now. Bella twisted her ring. I owe you an apology, she said. I posted a life that looks perfect. It isn't. She looked at Drew, then back at Lena. I judged you to feel better about me. Mark exhaled. Same. He tapped the folder. I followed the script. School firm title. I wake up most days and feel nothing. He swallowed. You made your own path. I made excuses. Lena softened. This isn't a contest. She glanced at Helen and Robert. We all did what we thought was right with the tools we had. Helen squeezed Lena's fingers. We missed who you were. Robert nodded. We see you now. Nina returned with a final folder, thicker than the others. Family portfolio, Lena said. Care plan, legal protections, contacts. We make decisions together. No more sidelines. Mark touched the cover like it might vanish. Together, he repeated, quieter this time. They moved to the study. Lena opened a plan of the Westfield community. Small houses clustered around gardens. It's not institutional, she said. It's home-like. Personalized routines. Music in the mornings for memory. Safe walking paths. Kitchen smells that match old habits. Robert smiled. Cinnamon rolls, he murmured. Sundays. We can arrange that, Lena said. Mark leaned in despite himself. Staffing ratios? Hi, Lena answered. Nurses on every shift. Family councils monthly. Transparent costs, covered by the trust one set up in Mom and Dad's names. Drew nodded, impressed. This is thorough. Bella wiped a tear. I'd like to volunteer there. The art rooms maybe. They'd love you, Lena said. Helen took a steady breath. I'm scared to leave our house, she admitted, but this sounds kind. Lena met her eyes. We move when you're ready. We'll test weekends. No pressure. Mark closed the folder and looked at Lena. I was wrong, he said simply. About you. About what matters. Lena let the words land. We can start fresh, she said. Equal voices. Real honesty. Robert chuckled softly. And fewer helicopters on the lawn. Lena smiled. Deal. Outside, the lake shone like a clean slate. Inside, the family, at last, began to write a new chapter together. That afternoon, the family sat in the garden by the lake. The sun shimmered on the water and coffee cups clinked against saucers. Robert leaned forward, more alert than he had been in days. When did you know it would work, Lena? He asked. His voice trembled but carried curiosity. Lena thought a moment. Not one moment, Dad. Many. I almost failed twice. But I held on. In year 3 we patented something big. That changed everything. Helen frowned softly. Why didn't you ask for help? We would have helped you. Lena smiled gently. With conditions, Mom. Every time you offered help it came with an expectation that I would admit I was wrong. I couldn't do that. Mark sat back, arms folded, eyes distant. I made you into the family example, he said finally. The one who failed so I wouldn't have to face my own doubts. Bella glanced down at her hands. Me too, she admitted. I needed you to be the struggling sister so my life looked perfect. Lena studied them both. That's the thing about families. We tell stories about each other even when they're not true. Then we forget to check if they still fit. Bella gave a small laugh. Like me pretending everything is glamorous. Truth? Drew and I have been in counseling for a year. Drew nodded. We want real connection, not just photos for magazines. Mark rubbed his forehead. And I hate half my job. Maybe more. But I've worn the suit so long, I don't know who I'd be without it. Robert reached for Helen's hand. We thought we were raising 3 strong kids. We didn't realize we were also building cages. Helen's eyes filled with tears. We did the best we knew how. But I see now, we clipped your wings while praising your brothers. Lena leaned forward, voice soft. We can change that. All of us. No more cages. Later they toured the estate. Nina walked them through the guest house, the office wing, the gardens. Bella touched the carved banister with awe. This is beautiful. Mark muttered. It feels like a museum. Lena shook her head. It's just a home. I wanted it close to Riverton so I could be near Mom and Dad. Helen pressed her palm to a stone wall. And you built all this while we thought you needed money for groceries. Yes, Lena admitted. And that was partly my fault. I let the misunderstandings stand. Bella frowned. Why? Lena hesitated. Because it protected me. If you thought I was small, you couldn't control what I built. I could grow in peace. Mark looked at her, jaw tight, then softened. And now, Lena said, I don't need that shield anymore. Dinner that evening was quieter than usual. The chef served grilled salmon with herbs from the garden. Helen hesitated before lifting her fork. This is too fine for us. Lena smiled. It's food, Mom. Eat and enjoy. Robert chuckled. I could get used to this. Conversation drifted to lighter things. Bella's favorite books, Robert's old fishing trips, Mark's memories of debate team. Halfway through, Mark cleared his throat. I owe you an apology, Lena. Everyone looked up. I mocked you for years. I treated you like less. That was wrong. Lena held his gaze. Thank you for saying that. Bella shifted. Me too. I thought I was being helpful with the gift card. But I see now. I was trying to keep you in a role. The struggling sister. It made me feel safe. Lena nodded. We all played roles. Time to write new ones. That night Lena stood on the terrace. The moon reflected on the lake. Mark joined her, holding 2 glasses of whiskey. To you, he said quietly, raising one. You did it. Lena clinked her glass. To us, she corrected. We're still family. Mark exhaled. Do you ever regret it? The hard years. Lena thought. They hurt, yes. But they shaped me. And I wouldn't trade what I've built. Mark sipped. I've been offered a teaching post. Less money. More meaning. Seeing you today. I think I'll take it. Lena smiled. You'd be brilliant at that. You've always been a teacher, Mark. He looked away, eyes wet. I was too busy being right to notice. Lena touched his arm. It's not too late. The next morning, sunlight spilled into the breakfast room. Pastries, fruit, omelets. Everything smelled warm and good. Bella poured cream into her coffee. Could I volunteer at the Westfield community? She asked shyly. I want my charity work to matter. Not just galas. Lena grinned. They'd be lucky to have you. Drew nodded. I've been thinking about shifting my investments toward nonprofits. This weekend, it changed how I see things. Helen squeezed Robert's hand. All our children are finding new paths. Robert smiled. Better late than never. Nina entered with her tablet. All logistics are set for your parents' transition whenever you decide. Lena thanked her and looked at her family. This is about us deciding together, not me directing. Mark smiled faintly. Equals, he said, repeating her word from the day before. Yes, Lena said. Equals. They took a family photo on the terrace steps. For the first time in years, the smiles were real. Afterward, Lena gathered them in the living room. Before you go, she said, I want to be honest. My success gave me money, yes. But it also built walls. I define myself against you, not with you. That hurt me more than I admitted. Helen's voice was soft. Were you punishing us? Maybe a little, Lena confessed. But mostly I was protecting myself. Bella reached out. We see you now. No more walls. Robert nodded. We all share blame for the distance. Let's heal together. Lena exhaled. That's all I want. As the weekend wound down, Mark packed slowly. I don't want to leave, he admitted. Not yet. Bella smiled. Stay another night. We can all use the guest wing. Drew added, one more evening won't hurt. Helen brightened. It's been so long since all of us stayed under one roof. Robert chuckled. Feels like the old days, except fancier. That night they sat by the fire telling stories. Childhood bike rides, failed science projects, Bella's high school play. For once no one boasted. No one compared. They just remembered. Lena leaned back in her chair and thought, this is what I wanted all along. The next morning, Lena drove her parents back in a simple SUV, leaving the helicopter on the pad. Helen smiled at the wheel. I like this better, quiet, steady. Robert hummed along with the radio. Home, he said softly, but not the same home as before. Lena nodded. Because we've changed. At the old house, Mark carried the bags without comment. Bella hugged Lena tightly. Come for dinner next week, she asked. Nothing fancy. Just family. I'd love that, Lena said. Robert kissed her forehead. You proved us wrong, child. But more than that, you proved us better. Helen whispered, we see you now. Lena blinked back tears. That's all I ever wanted. That evening, Lena returned to her estate, sitting on the terrace with her laptop. Nina approached. Tokyo proposals ready for review. I'll read it, Lena said, but family comes first now. The lake glowed gold in the sunset. For years she had chased recognition, built walls, dreamed of dramatic reveals. But true wealth, she realized, was not the helicopter, not the mansion, not even the millions. It was this. Sitting in peace, knowing her family was finally seeing her clearly. She turned to the camera in her mind, the way she spoke to her viewers. Have you ever been underestimated by your family? Have you ever had to prove yourself in ways they never expected? Share your story in the comments. And if this story touched you, hit like and subscribe to the channel. Remember, true wealth is not in things but in being known and loved for who you really are.